Hey friends, it's Marquise Martin Hayes, and it is time for the Monday Moment. Just want to jump in really quick. I've been thinking lately about the gateway to the next level. I know in life that it's important for all of us to have our goals and dreams met, and the journey looks different for everyone. Now, there are some common themes and threads that we believe works for most of us, but really it looks different for you than it does for me. And so, as I began to really accept that, that made things a little bit easier for me because I stopped judging my journey based on where someone else was. That also made it interesting, right? Because when you're not where someone else is and you're trying to find, are you doing okay? Are you okay where you are on your journey? That can be difficult because the measurement isn't as concrete, right? We grow up in school where we have exams and we measure by grades, retention, and all of those things. But when accomplishing your goals and living your journey, it's not so clear. So in that time or over time, I began to look at and study and try to figure out how do I maintain my internal peace and my own barometer to figure out where am I on this journey of life. We've all seen that success isn't a straight line. It's more like this. Well, I've had a lot of this. But because I've had this, I've not I've done the best that I can to not allow it to distract me from where I'm headed. So today I thought I would share with you the idea that abundance is everywhere, right? I've been listening to Abraham Hicks, and she was talking a lot about abundance. And when you don't feel abundant in one thing, look for it in something else. And by looking for it in something else, it opens your mind to the possibility that it's just that it exists. And when it exists, then when you reference the thing that you're up to, you can have a more open mind around it. So I believe that the key to the next level is acceptance with where you are. Now, don't misunderstand me. That doesn't mean that where you are is finality. But I think when we are in a state of, I want to say denial initially, but more so a state of what is, then we can choose and make and take actions from there to where we want to go. Like, for example, it's cold in the Midwest. And I know I don't want to be in the Midwest long term. Like, I know that I'm done with the idea of living in the Midwest for winters. However, I currently still live in the Midwest, even though I'm on my way to Cali and out of the country. And me and my family, that's what we want to do. I know that while I'm here, I can do one of several things, but two come to mind. One, I could complain about how I hate being here. And I don't hate being here. I just don't like being in the cold for 6 months out of the year. The other option I could do is something that I learned from Warner Brothers growing up as a kid. Bugs Bunny used to always say, if you can't beat them, join them. I adopted that philosophy years ago during retail management, hearing all the Christmas songs. And after a while, you just don't want to hear them anymore. But I found that when I started to sing them, it at least made me feel better because instead of resisting, pushing against the reality of what was in the moment, I embraced it and I found life in it. And so I determined that this year, like I used to do years ago, I forgot, I disconnected from it, but I'm returning to it in order to maintain the mindset of happiness, mindset of peace that I desire, even in a situation where right now, being in the Midwest is not where I want to be for winter, that I will embrace winter. That may look like spending more time outside on purpose. It definitely looks like getting my winter running gear out and going out for a mile or two or three or four. And that sounds psychologically crazy because it's the antithesis of what I want, especially since I don't like or desire to be in the cold. But what I found is that if I embrace it, it has less of a negative impact on me. If I own it or if I'm a part of it, if I participate in where it is, not begrudgingly, but embracing it, then it changes my mood. It changes how I feel. So the weight of the cold doesn't impact my life. Now, that's a analogy that I'm offering you, but think of it this way. When we're resisting something that's the way that it is because we want something better, the only thing that actually happens during that time is that we feel less than optimal in the moment. When we feel less than optimal, it's not just, oh, I don't like winter, so it's cold outside. That translates and transforms into other things in my life as well. It transforms into, so now I'm just frustrated. I want to stay in the house. It translates into, I want to look for things that'll make me feel warm. Which leads to what? Probably comfort food eating, probably drinking things I don't need to drink to try to feel better, probably looking for opportunities to feel better, all because of being cold, which takes the attention off of where I am, what I'm up to, and what I can create, and moves it into the frustration, the disappointment, the anger. And all I do is circulate in that negative energy, which takes away from what I really want to accomplish. Not necessarily the warm winter. I'm talking about the life that I'm living right now. I become frustrated because I'm focused on the wrong thing. I'm pushing against it instead of accepting it for what it is. When I'm pushing against, as I explained a minute ago, I might even show up differently to my family, to my peers, because I'm coming from a space of just, I don't want to be in the cold. But accepting the cold doesn't mean I like it, but I embrace it for what it is while I'm here. And when doing that, it doesn't take away. As a matter of fact, by embracing it or finding something I can do or enjoy while it's cold, my mood is better. My attention to detail is better. My attention to what I desire is better. And I discover abundance even when I find myself in the cold. So I don't know about you. I don't know where you are and where you're fighting against. That's not where you want to be. But I promise you, if you look for the good where you are, it'll help you get to where you're trying to go. This is the Monday Moment, and acceptance is the next way or the gateway to where you want to go. I'm Marquise Martin Hayes. Have a fantastic week.